Yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it present. Speaking of time, I decided to start this video next to Villa Valberta on the shore of Lake Starnberg. History, mystery, present. What does it really mean? When do we live? Obviously, in the present, you say. But how long is this present? A second ago, I said, when do we live? And that is already the past. Maybe the present doesn't really exist. It is merely a portal between the future and the past. An analogy that might describe this situation is a movie film, a strip made of countless static images, which when displayed at a certain speed with the right equipment, gives the illusion of movement. Film cameras and projectors share a similar mechanism. A strip moves in front of a window and is being exposed and blocked intermittently. Look at the film running in front of you. And now it's been blocked and unblocked by the shutter. The middle image is the only one that creates the illusion of movement. The film is moving from left to right. So the future is the right side and the past is the left side. In order to construct 1 second of moving image between 18, 24, 25, 50 or even more, still images are required. So each still image represents something between 0.04 to 0.01 or less second. And that is pretty short. Now, why did I mention time? Because I wanted to talk today about the future, or actually about the present, or how we never create a future. We make a new present. Have you ever looked at old cars, appliances, houses, machines, things that in the past were peak of the creation, state of the art in engineering and design, and today they either look old, obsolete. I'm pretty sure many of you can name at least one thing from the past, something that was considered futuristic for its day, but today looks somewhat archaic. There have been a lot of predictions. Flying cars, nuclear transportation, underwater cities, all sorts of those predictions from the past that never took place. Yet, none of those people who predicted those things could ever expect this. People in the dark with glowing faces. Think about it. If you suggested this image of zombies addicted to handheld devices sometime in the past, they would all tell you, no way, humanity is going forward, not backwards. In his book, War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells tells about Martians who came to attack Earth. He tried to depict a super advanced civilization based on the knowledge he had back then. The Martians were more or less big brains with tentacles that could interact with their machines. He described a type of augmented living form where the biological part controls a mechanical body. He could not back then predict the artificial intelligence. Since then, computers were still an occupation, not even a real machine. If we compare this story to what is being developed today, we can see that augmented life forms are being created, but this time, minute and powerful computers are being installed inside biological bodies. So, how come that so many fantastic predictions never took place, while things that no one could ever predicted happened? I think that the answer is pretty simple. This is because when we think about the future, we conceptualize wishes which are based on our existing technology, knowledge, and morals. We create a different present. In many of those predictions of futuristic electric homes powered by nuclear energy, the husband would still come back from work while his wife stayed home taking care of the house and the children. But forget the distant past for a moment. So many things have changed since 2020. For example, remote working or studying. This idea of conducting meeting classes or interviews without the fundamental need to be in the same room in person is now mainstream. This old image from sometimes in the 50s or the 60s is a rare example of something well predicted. Obviously, they could not predict the coronavirus, but it is fascinating to see how something could be so precise back then. In the 1960s, England and France worked together on the creation of a supersonic aircraft. The novel idea was to allow people to cross the ocean in half the time it would take a standard airliner. This plane suffered from a few problems, which held it from becoming a real success. The major problem was the rise of the oil prices in the mid-70s. By then, flying the Concorde was so expensive that many of the flights were losing money. For the past few years, a new company called Boom Supersonic is developing a new supersonic airliner. This time, it should be more sustainable and economical. This airplane offers again passengers a fast way to cross the ocean. However, today, no one needs to fly fast to attend an urgent meeting. Today, you just open an online meeting app and voila! Will the new Boom Supersonic airliner become a victim of the COVID-19 the same way the Concorde became a victim of the oil prices? Only time will tell. History is full of predictions and new products which were either obsolete by the time they were released to the market or someone else actually found a new application for them. An application that was completely different from the original idea. It is very hard to predict the future. There are just too many factors, and the future takes its own path. Wine merchants who found out that the long deliveries on ships caused the wine to go bad started adding it other kinds of spirits. This thing ended up as being named fortified wine or port. In the 1950s, an engineer invented a textured, transparent foil for insulating greenhouses. The idea was to create a material that allows light to go through, but traps the heat better than glass. This never came to fruition. However, this material ended up as one of the best stress relievers, or as others call it, bubble wrap. In World War I, Kimberly-Clark developed wedding for surgical dressing for better blood absorption. Nurses who used it recognized its properties and started using it as hygiene pads. After the war, where bandages market grew small, the company more or less created the personal hygiene pads market. And a more recent example is the first intranet services, which included email and web browsers, developed by Xerox. Those guys didn't really know what to do with what they just invented until some unknown person visited them and saw it in action. And the rest is history. So, what do you think? Can people actually predict or create a future, or just make a modified present? If you like my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And just before saying goodbye, I would like to say that I will keep making more videos, and usually I like to discuss things that I personally find interesting. However, if there is a subject you find interesting and you want me to do some research and make a video blog about, let me know. I'm always open for new ideas. Thank you, and until next time, in the future.